Good evening, everyone. We're heading into round 17, and I thought this was a good time just to see the comparison between myself this year and my team last year. I actually came into this round 17, with 6 trades remaining. So I then used that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by the end of round 19. Picked up the extra 8 trades for 20, and you see there 8 from round 20. I used 3 then 2 in 21, then plenty of rounds off there, 22, 23, and 24 off, before I picked up Carrigan and DCE and then grabbed Ponga to finish in round 27. So heading into this week, I am sitting at 8 trades remaining, which is a little bit better. So that's good. And it's probably expected given the situation this year with the minor buys being just 13 players. Like, we haven't had to push as hard in the majors leading into the minors as well. Like, I know last year, a big thing that I managed to do, was it just once? Yeah, it was just once in the end, actually. It was trading 4 in one hit. This year, I haven't done that as yet, which is good. So round 14 was that week for me. And I know, analysing a lot of the teams last year, that was kind of when teams were a little bit undone, was making those, having those weeks where they traded plenty. And it's a situation I haven't done as much this year. I've had the 3 weeks there where I've used the triple trade, and outside of that, it's been 2s and 1s. Which I think overall has been a better decision. What I want to check out now there is the overall rank history. Now, this is this year. I've basically got to the same spot I am now in round 6. So 1750. I'm now sitting at with round 16 to come, at 1603. So yeah, very, very similar to where I was there. And I just have been a little bit up and down with that ranking. Now, in positive news, round 17 last year was the exact week that I pushed in to the top 1,000. Now, I improved. I was a little bit back and forth from round 13 at 1,600 to 1,300 to 1,800. After round 16, I moved to 1,100, which probably would have been the case if we didn't lose Wong. I think if I grabbed that extra 40 points or so out of him, get a 50, then I probably would have been 1,100 and in the exact same position as I was last year. I then pushed into the top 1,000 for the first time in round 17, get to 705, 558, then 528, 431, and then I peaked in round 22 for a 232 rank before I blew out in that last 2 weeks there, last 3 weeks, from 323 out to the 757 finish in round 27. So what I'm gathering from that is that there is hope. The round 17 is the week that I push forward. And now, if I do only make the 400 ranks, I'll still be in the outside the top 1,000, but hopefully this continues in the right direction for myself this year, just like it did in 2024. So now that we've had a little bit of a look at that, let's go through my side and where I'm at, strategy and everything else there. So as I said, for round 16, pushed into 1,603, so pushed out, I should say, 114 spots, unfortunately, just with the couple of issues with Jaden Campbell, and then with Siwa Wong was the big one there with 11. Outside of Siwa, I was pretty happy with how the team performed, outside of not owning Payne Haas and then having the Wong issue and Campbell in that same couple of games. That was frustrating. But in saying that, the Wong situation, thank goodness that Nafahu, White, Savala and Teddy all had an absolute stormer of a game and just helped me mitigate that damage there. Fletcher Sharp, I ended up just deciding to take the 37 from him. I was like, well, Yongi's kind of hit way less than that, or on that number more than half the times, and he can go above that. And of course, he had like the first 3 try assists, and I think he'd gone past Fletcher Sharp's score of 37 just before halftime. So thankful in a way that it only pushed out to 49, but he's very, very low ownership, and I'm also happy that he didn't perform terribly and get a 20 and lose me cash, because he's someone I'll eventually want to sell. Now, moving to round 17, I just moved a few things around there with players I have on buy and players that will be out. So I've still got Jazz Tavanga with the first aid symbol, so he will be back this week after that concussion, unless we see any further issues after him getting it in round 15 and then them missing the week. I haven't heard anything about it, so hopefully he is fine. He'll be named tomorrow and we'll be good to go. Now, pre-trades from my team, we have Tedesco out, We have Nafahu White, we have Wong and Savala. So I do have the 4 Roosters. So this generally was going to be a week that would be a little bit harder from my side in general with those 4 guys, and I would have to be selling one. And now it was White or Wong that were going to leave the squad here. And it's made it very, very simple that Wong with the 4 to 6 week injury for the MCL, very similar to that with Sharp with his lacerated kidney, which is wild. Both those guys now will have to leave my side. So been good. I didn't make a trade last week, so having 8 there is a bit above the top 1,000 average. So that's a little point where I've got a slightly added benefit. But so those 2 will be coming out of my side. But with the 4 Roosters plus Sharp and Campbell, that's 6 out. So I would definitely need to make the 2 trades to get to 17, and that's hoping that everyone else is available. Now there is a small chance that they can appeal Campbell's Cat 1. Apparently he passed the HIAs in the sheds. He did look a bit crook after Verrills jumped and landed on his neck. No wonder he was oh, that hurt a lot. I'm on the ground, and he did look like potentially went out for a second, or he was just in a crazy amount of pain and then got up, and because he kept playing on. So interesting, that whole situation. We'll find out over the next few days, or if he gets named tomorrow and they're looking to appeal that. But let's assume he's out of this one. I definitely need a wing fullback, and I was looking to buy Carraz anyway, so Carraz will be coming into the side. My only problem is I can't do it in one trade, so Fletcher Sharp could go to him. I need an extra 6, I believe, $6,000 to get to 722. Yep. We have to take the plunge and hope that he's not going to be an 18th man, or he's not going to make Origin, and just hope that and also Lomax are going to be sweet for that game. And well, I suppose if he ends up 18th man, then people that own Burton will be pretty happy, unless they own both. But that could be the plunge that they take. So yeah, he'll come into the side, and then I'll have to find someone cheaper than Wong by about, 6K? Yeah. So 622 and below, I'll need to find someone to move into that side. And as I've been saying for a few weeks now, centre and wing fullback are the 2 positions that I need some help with, definitely. So that's personally where I'm going to be looking. I was saying there I was oversubscribed in edges and also middles for around 18 there. Losing one of them in Wong is fine, because I can use that guy to then replace him with one of these wing fullbacks, halves, or centres. So guys like Hughes are available. We've got Turbos. We've got another cheeky player from that side as well, which we'll leave till tomorrow. You've got Drinkwater that still potentially needs to come into my side at 550k. We could wait a week and get guys like Nwangi Tawaze, who has that upside. So a few different options there. Latu Fainu, if we wanted to go cheap, is cool as well. I still only have the one cheaper type player in King Tonga. So I'll eventually be getting a cheapie into my side to facilitate getting the GOAT Payne Haas back. So sad. But looking at this team now, my weakest link is King Tonga, who will be starting in my 17 this week. And using only 2 trades, we can do some looping as well, just to make sure things go right. And I would suggest that across the first sort of 2 to 3 games, making sure that you can set yourself up safely. Cleary will probably be in the starting side as vice captain. Glad to still own him, even though he probably isn't going to goal kick, but a very important matchup for them. Thankfully, they got the win. But having guys, I've got Garrick in the side that I could loop down there. I've got Jazz that I can loop. Tigers players if you have any of them, but guys like Hosking, anyone basically that if they could get an injury or concussion early on, then I might have to make that 3rd trade to someone I may have been looking at anyway for round 18. So if you're short 2 or 3 players, you're making, let's say short 3 players, you're making 2 trades, you can have that safety loop that if you're looking to buy one of those guys anyway next week, and you're just avoiding it this week to see how players in your team go, or didn't want to overconsume trades and burn them, then that's the way you could have that type of backup, which would be cool. So yeah, if Cleary's all good to go, he's going to be my vice captain just to lock that in. And Terrell with the 65 last week, I think he'll probably improve on that, hopefully get some more offloads and tackle breaks and on our bike. But yeah, happy enough in the end that Hines went from 50 to 54. That was good. Hoping Aiken goes back to the edge. We know he can score a lot better there. Hosking, I'm hoping for a better score. He's going to be in that 17. And if King Tongia could get another try, that would be good fun as well. So the Dragons there, they play the Eels, so he has a chance to do okay in that one. We got Farnworth, we got Garrick returning, probably on the wing, and if it comes out like we may think, then Turbo is probably going to be inside him at centre, which I actually think is pretty good. I'd be happy with that. If there's any way you want to, if you're going to end up on the wing, he's a great guy to have next year, along with, having DCE. Further on the inside, and over the next few weeks, we'll get Olakuatu back on that edge as well, which is always fun. So, Sharp, he'll be coming out. Karaz will come in, so a straight swap in that wing fullback position. It does make my halves a little bit weaker, but thankfully this week I'll be fine. And we also have Savala, who is he's almost more expensive than Nico Hines, which is pretty wild this week. Yes, that's where my side's at. Very happy to play Savala next week in round 18. I just need someone to partner him, and not super excited about King Tonga, so that's where Hughes can come in, and I do need a little bit of help in centre and wing fullback. But when I was saying last week as well that me having to bring in a couple of centres or a couple of wing fullbacks, 3 between the two, it would leave me oversubscribed in both centre and wing fullback. So if there was to be injuries, I did actually want them to be to non-round 18 playing wing fullbacks if it was going to happen that way. So Sharp going through that. I hope he's okay for one. But in terms of my team, it's not the worst out that it could have been. Having someone else like Savala be out, Garrick would be out, Teddy being injured, those types of guys would really, really hurt my side. Someone like Sharp, missing a couple of weeks there, 18 and 22 anyway, it's not the end of the world from my side, and I can make those trades, and he is a more expensive guy that we can actually use to get to those guys. So that's my side at the moment. I think we'll do okay for round 17, hopefully improve a little bit if things go all right. The main worry is going to be Payne Haas here, and if he goes for like a 70, we'll be fine, but if he goes for a ton again, carrying that injury, he's just so impressive. That was incredible. Now, in terms of the rankings, guys, we do see Thames up top, just holding on very gamely to his spot in first. There, we've got Jonathan with an 810, catching up to Thames there, and then with a 768. August in at third with a 757. Jakey V with a good score of 788, happy with that there. And then Andrew, unfortunately, a lower one for him at 748 after that crazy 930 or whatever it was last week. We got Sam in there. We got Jordan with the podcasters crew into 7th with an 849. So spectacular effort from him. This season just continues to build on an incredible season there. Now, if we're separating the top 10, we've got Daniel in at 10th at 15,031. And then we've got Thames up there at 15,181. So 150 points separates the top 10, which is not much at all. And it's actually really exciting overall to see how close that is. We've seen bigger leads in the past, and it's really, really cool to watch. Now, I did lose the Gargarov Cup and the private head-to-head one, so good work to Awaza Shek. What a great name that is. And let's just quickly check the overall private group there, because what we do see is Danny Boy coming in clutch there, moving into 12th spot, just a small gain on last week, but a pretty solid score there of 783. So we have 4th, 5th, 12th at the moment, and then into 44th with Harry. Chris moves into 51. Brody into 64 there. We got Les, Brendan, Johnny, Zarin in there. Okay, so Zarin's just outside the 100. So we got 9 in the top 100, which is awesome. Big shout out to all of you guys there, and you get some time on screen if you're in that top 20, which is not me, sadly, but we'll get there. We'll get there slowly. I'm 85th out of the 396, so good work to you guys. In terms of the overall JBFA League, just a quick snapshot there for you guys that are in the hunt for for that top 10, which is good stuff. So happy days to all you guys. Quick one on the podcasters. We did kind of have a quick look at it with Nikki last night, so make sure you do go check that video out, guys. It previews the week ahead, have a bit of banter back and forth, and all the good stuff that we do there. So go and check that one out. But Jakey Boy, he actually pushed out to 110th with a few down dates or updates in other places across the board. But Nick in there with a big 847 into 213. I'm sitting at 7th there, and Chrissy Boy, I'm 3 points behind. I'm coming for you. And just saw a little bit of movement in some ranks behind. We've got Scoopman, you'll see, and hear from a little bit later. He's killing it in Supercoach and he's 2100 in fantasy. So definitely ride the momentum train with Scoop there. I will shout out my commiserations to Longy there. A 690 was pretty rough, but the hardest part of this one was owning Haas and not being able to take his score after you end up taking the loop of Tarpanay and playing Adam Finwell-Blake. So that, my friend, is what they call a tough break. And yeah, couldn't get more unlucky with that one there. After, yeah, a really good season so far and still in that top 2K. But personally took the lead just a little bit. This section here between, so Austin's been above for a while, but from Josh, Chris, me, Terrence there dropped a little bit from where he was, but Clint, Longy, Scoop, Monty, I think as well, and Bryce. This section here, and then Mitch is climbing up. They're doing the videos as we speak. But this section of from 5th to 12th has just been within 50 to 100 points for majority of the season. So yeah, I'm in a little battle, I feel, in this section here, which is good fun. Good fun, definitely there. Private group team, we ended up, I think, hitting 760 odd as well. So basically held rank. It's a little bit boring on that one. So we'll go through that one at a later date. But not too much else to say, I think, for my side there. Got the general strategy and where I'm pushing for to make sure I have 13 for next week. And it looks like now with, likely using 2 trades this week, leaving 6 in the bank there for both round 18 and 19 at minimum, but having a few extra to kind of smash into round 20. And then guys like Payne Haas in 21, I think leaving sort of 5 or 6, 5 maybe from 21, I think will be, from there onwards, will be really helpful. To have kind of 1 a week-ish. And that's going pretty hard from here to there. It's 11 trades from here to sort of round 21, which, hit around 20 will be 4 weeks. So that's over 2 a week, which would be awesome. If we haven't hit 9 or 10, just over 2 a week for those few, and leave 7 for the last 6 rounds, I think that would be kind of goals for my side. So we'll leave it there, guys. Campbell will be staying in my side regardless of if he plays or not this week. It's only the 1 extra week from round 18. And yeah, we can get through this week. The goal was maybe to have King Tonga as like a looping type player, but we're going to have to lock him in as a 17 guy this week, do the loops and have some fun with it. So well done to everyone that beat me this week. 25,841 of you guys that beat my score. Well done to that. And can't wait to see how the rest of the week pans out. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Team List. Make sure to check out Mitch and Matt's video back in business. Hopefully they're roasting me as we speak, and we'll catch you in the next video.